I do a lot of highlighting some incredible portfolios, some incredible pieces, and maybe I just need to do a little something different. Shout out this guy. Basically, I'm gonna go through some portfolios that hopefully just show some sort of lack of something that I will then highlight, talk about, get some key features or key things to take away out from that. That wasn't English. To hopefully leave you guys in a better spot when creating your own portfolios, whether it's on Behance, your website, or whatever. So without further ado, let's just go look at some portfolios that, outside of design, I think would need a little bit of improvement. And if you were ever wondering how to improve your own designs, Everything Pack. Do not forget about the Everything Pack, the first link in the description, the product where you basically get all of my 32 products for one purchase, and then every other product that I come out with for free via Sellfy. You should know about it. Up first, we have ID, and I'm gonna give them the title of Unsolved Mystery. So at first glance, I get this idea of retro meets futuristic, involved in some exploratory concepts. Now, while I am drawn into the mystery of ID's design direction, it also kind of feels unsolved a little bit. I mean, the first project, right? Absolutely lovely. I mean, it's a great sense of texture, color scheme, and when packaged together, it's amazing. Second project has some random imagery up top into like a really cool idea of like an apparel collection showcase. Then we have this collection of personal assets and explorations that are just killer, like really thought-provoking, clever, and just a genuine, bright, creative mind. Now, the way this portfolio actually shines for me is when you pay more attention to what the designer is actually selling. Some designers, of course, sell branding solutions, logo creation, photo manipulation, audience attention, thumbnails, etc. And for ID, I don't think it's any of those in particular, but it's actually their mind. And in specific, I think the way they actually process creativity. I think this person might actually make a great like art director one day if they see fit. So what I feel is I almost expected continuity in things like the titles, or maybe some sort of form of creative way to put them all together. When I mean by them, I mean the products themselves. I just sort of wanted to be convinced that this person looked at the design past just making things look cool. And sometimes it's honestly in the small things. So instead of like hovering and seeing like personal work and collabs, I think it would have been really cool to have it like be titled Archive maybe instead, with like some sort of play with like symbols and whatnot. And then for his project on the right, that's like Archived Mask 2022. Simply just titling that like project underscore mask in all lowercase for just like title continuity. And for the record, if the design is honestly good enough and the project is good enough, it doesn't matter when it was created, okay? Good design lasts a long time. So putting like 2022 in the title just gives me like a hint of like a lack of confidence in the product itself. You kind of want to say it's old so no one judges it too hard, but otherwise, if it's not good in your opinion, it shouldn't be in your portfolio. Now, after you saw those small little things, I think I would want you to dig deeper and to see how you can actually tie your creativity into brands people already know and love, and that feel like kind of match your art aesthetic a little bit. That way, it gives someone like me, the viewer, the idea that you know how to transfer your creativity into something concrete and guideline heavy. This ultimately gives people the thought that you can break the rules and take risks within the industry, and that's something people pay a lot of money to pay attention to, okay? So for my key takeaways, add continuity in titles, don't leave a project feeling unfinished, and try your best to recognize your strengths early within your creative field, then highlight those strengths through selective products that you do in the future, okay? Let's go on to the next one. Now, up next, we have Rieldo, and for my title for you, I'm gonna have more is less. My first look at the page loaded, I had one word, and it was honestly exhaustion. I knew as soon as I clicked into any of these products, I'd be looking at 20 to 30 posters per project. And to that, I only have one phrase for you, which is less is more. So a lot of you guys would say, well, I think showcasing all the work I do helps highlight all my strengths as I tackle each poster differently, but it also highlights weaknesses too. The blessing here though is that you don't have a lack of work, you just have a lack of quality. For instance, imagine I say here, look at my list of awesome fonts I think all of you guys would enjoy. But now within these, I have some absolute stinkers because I just wanted to fill a page. But now instead, let's say I have a curated list of fonts I think you guys would enjoy. You immediately should be able to sense a few things. For one, my style taste, maybe imagine more quickly on how you can actually use the fonts, and just an overall speed to retain information on what you guys think of them. Now take that same exercise as we click into any of our projects within the Rieldo's portfolio, and hopefully you can see the idea. There are 42 posters in this project. Pick your favorite 10, and this is what I want you to showcase. This helps me understand what you believe is great design, helps the viewer form a better and more consistent image of how technical you are as a designer, and immediately builds a stronger designer in people's heads as they continue to scroll. So my key takeaways: a completed design doesn't automatically make it great. Curated design is great. Something you choose and say this is your favorite. More is less when presenting your first impression. Things just get a little bit too muddy and harder to, of course, intake information. And then lastly, your portfolio isn't a social media account. You can post infinite projects on socials, but the portfolio is you only at your best. Do you understand that? Please understand that. All right, now last up we have Jason, and for your title, Jason, I have you're spreading yourself too thin. At first glance, I saw a lot of repetition within your portfolio, which is probably coming off as not a good start. Repetition in specific, I'm calling out the color usage here. And one other thing in specific, the lack of variety within your portfolio, as most of these projects are for what I am guessing is your current work position. But to a viewer, as proud as I would be, of course, having a job in this amazing field, it just tends to show a lack of range, and of course adds a bunch of visual fatigue when I select on a project and I'm just basically getting something I feel like I've seen like 2 products before. You know, at least people feel like you've spread what really can be consolidated into one project out into basically the majority of your portfolio. Now, genuinely, there are some really amazing pieces within these projects, but it just feels a little unnecessary to have so many, especially with the same organization. Now, of course, within this problem, it also shows a lack of range in color exploration, typography, photo usage, etc. Of course, not every project a designer will do will be blue or use the same font or have photos that help carry a lot of the movement within a poster. So I would immediately consider adding some form of exploratory concepts within the mix. Look, it is not against the rules to design something for fun in your own free time that allows you to flex all the design muscles potential clients and viewers can see. Then of course, if you ever ask like, what can I design? Just ask yourself, what do you like watching? You know, who do you enjoy as a person? Do I have like a favorite product that I want to design for? Or even something maybe outside my own personal design pocket? Like what interests you, right? Maybe it's a different field like 3D or illustration, or maybe a new industry like football or Formula One. You are not just tied to one thing. Just because you start one way doesn't mean you have to finish one way. So for my key takeaways, don't be afraid to explore past your current job position. You're not going to be there forever. Don't get stuck in time when it's time to move on. Of course, be mindful of repetition within your portfolio. And if you don't have something to design, you are allowed to make things up as if a business asks you for it. Like, just seriously have some fun. You can make a project as if Nintendo came to you with a design brief and you just create something that's in your pocket. That's the cool part. You can create the perfect brief for yourself, design it, and then make it a portfolio piece. Make yourself look like real good. But with that, guys, that is me breaking down portfolios in like some very meticulous ways, and hopefully you guys can carry this into your own portfolios. I try my best to, of course, find ones that were bad in particular. For the record, the title says bad, but that in no means the actual designs are bad. I just think the execution, how you present yourself, there's like levels to it, okay? And a lot of the times, hopefully the key takeaways are things that you have to really pay attention to. At the end of the day, a lot of you guys have to understand portfolio and maybe like your resume and maybe like a cover letter, or those 3 separate things. They basically help control exactly where you're going to be going in life in the design field. And if you don't have any of those things locked down, especially portfolio, it's just going to be a little harder for you. Okay, there are so many opportunities within design that go into art direction, creative direction, design management, exploratory, name anything else, principal designing, and all these different things have roles within them that you can basically just sort of configure just a tiny bit the way you think and the way you process design. And the faster you get to understand what those things are, that what your strengths are, and try to build towards that for your next position and so on and so forth, your life is going to become 10 times easier as a designer, I promise. But with that, guys, Seso HQ out. Don't forget to keep smiling, stay positive, and stay freaking productive, guys. Later, much love, peace, and enjoy your day.